What's the deal, everybody? Welcome to another live stream of Roll Up a Power Up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Tap in. Tap the fuck in. What's going on? Where everybody at? Y'all ready? Y'all know it's about to get real. You know how I'm coming. Tap the fuck in. Tap in. Now this is gonna be about my little homie Dre. That nigga got smoked at a young age. You know what I'm saying? Terrible, man. Tap in. Tap the fuck in. Y'all ready for this one? I don't know. I don't think you is though, but we gonna see. Tap in. Tap the fuck in. Now look, how many of y'all are really from the streets? How many of y'all really grew up out here doing this shit? If you did, then maybe you could relate to this. You know what I'm saying? This some real shit right here, man. Low key, sometimes I be feeling kind of bad, you know. I be kind of feeling like it was my fault in a sense. But then at the same time, it really wasn't. Tap in. Tap the fuck in. Now, I made a video about this too. You know what I'm saying? The video is called When a Little Homie Lie About His Lifestyle and Pays the Ultimate Price. So if y'all need to see a shorter version of it, just go watch the video. You know what I'm saying? Tap in. Tap the fuck in. All right, let's go ahead and kick this off. So look, my little homie Dre, right? He from my block. Now I told you when I was growing up, on my block, it was like 30 or 40 of us. You know what I'm saying? We was all the same age. You know, of course, a couple of us was a little younger. Some of them was a little older. But we was all around the same age. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a lot of us at one time, you know. So we all grew up together, you know. Now, Dre, he was like 3 or 4 years younger than me, you know. So when I was growing up on the block with me and my crew, he was a little younger than us, you know. But he was just so infatuated with what we was doing. So he wanted to be like us so bad, you know what I'm saying? Now, with him always watching us, he watched everything we did. Now, he had a brother named Chunk. His brother was on the block with us. But his brother, low-key, really didn't fuck with us like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to get there. Let me go to the chats real quick. 3 Lost Boys. Hope you make a lot of money off this channel. Hey, you know it's coming. It's on the flow. R.I.P Clips. What's the deal? All right. So like I said, with Chunk, you know, he was rocking with us at first, you know, but then when the beef started getting real and shit, he kind of departed from us, you know what I'm saying, type shit. So he went his own way. Now, with him going his own way, he started claiming another gang from our hood, but it wasn't our set. You know what I'm saying? So he started going against us, type shit. You know, it's like, what the fuck was all that about? You know, but he just had that in his heart for real, you know. It's cool because we had a lot of haters, you know what I'm saying? It was what it was. So anyway, a couple of years go by. By this time, I'm like, what, 20, something like that. Dre like 14, 15, somewhere around there. So now he becoming old enough, you know, to be out on the block with us and all of that type of shit, right? So he always was outside with us. Now he on the block with us. You know, we not involving him with shit because, you know, he a little younger than us, you know, but he always wanted to be around. So anyway, with him being around us, you know what I'm saying, we embraced him because he was still from the block, you know. All right. Well, as time went on, the block started dying off. People started moving away. That's just how shit was. You know what I'm saying? I was one of the last few guys that was still on the block. You know what I'm saying? So it came to a point when it was me and him on the block. You know what I'm saying? Now, he always was around me because he wanted to be involved with what I was doing. Now, at that time, that's when I was carjacking and robbing, armed robbery, carjacking, all. That's when I was doing that shit real heavy. You know what I'm saying? So he decided he wanted to be involved and do what I'm doing. So every day we be on the block, he be like, bro, put me hip to shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I pull up in new whips every day. You know, he wanted to be on the type of time that I was on. So I'm like, man, I can't do that. You too young. You know what I'm saying? But the nigga, he just wouldn't stop. He wanted to be involved so motherfucking bad. All right, so fast forward to tape. He about 15 now. You know what I'm saying? Now, when he about 15, I'm still like 20, going on 21. Now, I shouldn't have been taking him out in the first place. This where I feel bad about the shit. You know what I'm saying? But he was the little homie. I've been knowing him since he was a little ass baby. You know what I'm saying? I know his sister, his brother, his mama, grandma. I know everybody. His daddy. Like, he was the little homie. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna take you on a run with me. I'm gonna show you how this shit done. So I started taking them out. I started showing them how I do shit, in the streets. So I took him out on a couple of robberies, but I didn't have him robbed and shit. I just had him like in the bushes or, behind the trash can or, behind the car, things like that. I would never have him do a robbery with me. I just have him watch me so he'll see what I'm doing. So, before we go on the hit, I show him the guns I got, all of that. I tell him how I do this shit. I put the mask on, the whole play. You know what I'm saying? By the time we get to the scene, I'll be like, look, just fall back. I'm about to go in and take care of this. You know what I'm saying? You just watch it. I did this about 3 times. You know what I'm saying? So I took him on like 3 different missions to show him what I be doing. You know, after I get the car or whatever, I drive around to him, boom, jump in the car, we'll pull off. You know what I'm saying? So that was our routine. We did that shit all the time, right? Well, not all the time. We did it 3 times. I did it all the time. But I took him on 3 runs so he could see what I be doing. All right. So now he get a taste of what I'm doing, right? Now, after the third play, I'm gonna tell y'all how the third play happened, so y'all can understand why what happened. So by the third play, I carjacked somebody at a Myers in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Now, when we pulled up to the Myers, we pulled up in the Stoli. You know what I'm saying? To carjack somebody. I had him drive while I went and went to carjack the motherfucker and get them for their shit. You know what I'm saying? So while I did that, he in the car. We pulled up behind the car because the car was about to pull out the parking lot to go out into the street. So we caught the person at the light, basically. You know what I'm saying? Now, when he pulled up behind the car, I jumped out. I ran up on the car. Boom, give me this shit. You know what I'm saying? Long story short on that, the people took the key out the car when they was getting out the car. They took the key out the car and they ran. When they ran, they called the police. Now, this didn't happen in Detroit. This happened in a city called Southfield, which is a suburban city. So I wasn't trying to get caught by the police. So when I noticed the damn key wasn't in the car, I jumped out the car, ran back to the Stoli where Dre was in. I jump in the Stoli with him. When I jump in the Stoli with him, I'm like, come on, pull off. We out of here. You know what I'm saying? So we try to hurry up and get out this parking lot. The parking lot was like a big ass maze. It was crazy as hell. But anyway, we trying to hurry up and get out this parking lot. Well, why one of the tires pop off that bitch? Boom! We didn't even realize the damn tire popped off the car. You know what I'm saying? But the tire popped off that bitch. When the tire popped off, I seen something fly past because it was the passenger tire, and I was in the passenger seat. So we seen something fly by, but we didn't know what the fuck it was because we was in the middle of a robbery. Like your heart be pumping, your mind be racing, like you be in a million places when you in the middle of robbing some shit, especially when the robbery don't go right. You know what I'm saying? So the damn tire popped off the car. I ain't never seen nothing like that happening ever in life, but it happened this night. You know what I'm saying? So when the tire popped off, he like trying to turn the wheel, but the damn car not turning. You know what I'm saying? The car just still riding up and it's about to hit this curb. I'm like, dog, turn. What is you doing? He like, man, the wheel ain't turning. I see him trying to jank that bitch, but it ain't turning. I'm like, dog, we gotta jump out this motherfucker. So I'm like, on three, we jumping out. I'm like, 1, 3, boom. We jumped out that bitch. We jump out, the car crashed into the car. Boom. Right? When that shit happened, we roll out the car. We jump up. Now, the street that we was on, it was called Telegraph. The Myers sit on 12 Mile and Telegraph. But it sit on Telegraph off of 12 Mile. So we running up towards Telegraph, right? We get to Telegraph, we run across the street. Telegraph is a big main ass road like Woodward Avenue. You know what I'm saying? So we run across Telegraph, we get to the other side. At that time, they was doing a lot of construction over there. So it was like half buildings and shit, little walls that we hid behind. So we hid behind the walls, right? While we hid behind the walls, we looking, you know what I'm saying, to see what's going on in the parking lot across the street at the Myers, where we just tried to carjack them people at, you know what I'm saying? So while we looking across the street, we see all the Southfield police pull up. They pulling up everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Let me hit this chat real quick. Nathan Lopez, Glizzy's, what the fuck is that? Shelly Eggs, hello, how are you? I'm good, but I got a little cold, just mucus in my throat. So it got my voice off track, but it's all good. I'm gonna keep going through. I'm gonna push through. This shit'll be gone in a couple of days, but it kind of got my voice down. But so ENT, what's the deal, my dog? You know what it is. I'm going up. All right, so back to it. Now, what I said, we was looking across the street and we seen all them Southfield police over there. We like, damn, they responded quick because Southfield is a city in Oakland County. And if y'all know anything, Oakland County is one of the richest counties in the world. You know what I'm saying? They don't play no games. So Southfield police pulled up fast as hell. So we see the people that I was carjacking. They was telling the police everything that happened. You know what I'm saying? And the car that we had jumped out of that we crashed, that motherfucker was just sitting there. So the car we crashed right here and the car I stole over here. So the car wasn't too far away from each other. So the people pointing at the stolen car and they pointing at their car, saying what we did and shit. So the police, they all scouring around the area trying to find us. You know what I'm saying? Now, while we still hiding behind these walls, Dre called his sister. I said he got a sister. His sister probably was like 2 years younger than me, But anyway, he called his sister. She came and picked us up, right? She picked us up, shot us back to the hood. She like, what the fuck happened? She like, when y'all left, y'all was in the car. What happened to the car that y'all was in? So we told her, while we was on the mission, the damn tire popped off and we had to ditch that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a fucked up night. You know what I'm saying? Now the other runs I took him on was mission complete. But this night, it was ball business. So when we got back to the block, that shit gave him a rush. You know what I'm saying? Even though he didn't do nothing, I'm the one that did the shit. He was just a getaway driver, But it gave him a rush. Now, mind you, he 15 years old at the time. He was like 15 going on 16, something like that. Now, it gave him a rush. You know what I'm saying? So I guess he started getting thirsty for the shit or whatnot, Anyway, while we back on the block, I told him, I'm like, look, we got to chill out for a minute. That shit was hot. We almost got caught. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, when I come up with a better play, I'm going to let you know something. But I'm like, we got to lay low for a couple days. You know what I'm saying? He like, all right, cool. So he went in the house. I went in the house. I'm in the house trying to think of my next move and shit, I'm trying to come up with something. I'm like, you know what? This play right here I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna take Dre with me. I'm gonna just do this one on my own. You know what I'm saying? So play was I was gonna go to the east side. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna get off the west side because I was hot on the west side because I was robbing a whole bunch of shit over there. So I went to the east side, right? I jumped on the bus. I took the 7 mile bus from west 7 mile to east 7 mile. I jumped on the bus with my gun. I had my gun on me and caught the bus from the west 7 mile to east 7 mile, right? I get to east 7 mile. I hook up with my homies on the east side. I told you I had crib homies over there, so I went and hooked up with them. I'm like, look, I'm gonna lay low over here for a minute because I'm about to get to rob some shit over here. They like, all right, cool. So I'm over there posted up with them for like 2 or 3 days. While I'm over there with them, it was this light-skinned girl that stayed in their hood. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, me and one of the homies, we had went over her house one day. Within them couple of days I was over there. We had went over her house. And mind you, I never met this girl, none of that. This was his homie, but I was with him, so he wanted me to go with him. Well, we go over girl house, and girl was digging me. You know what I'm saying? So me and girl get to talking. All right, cool. We fuck with each other. We started linking up. I stopped hanging with the Crip niggas, and I started hanging with her. You know what I'm saying? So she had a son at the time. Her son was probably like 6, 7 months. He was a little baby and shit. But she had a little boy, and she always used to let me come in the house and all of that. She was just in love with me type shit. So every time I come over, I had to take my gun off my hip. I put it under the couch or some shit like that. And she always would tell me like, why don't you just throw that shit away? Why don't you give that game up? I'm like, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because she knew what I was doing. She like, look, she like, I'm really from Tennessee. She like, I'm about to move back down there. She like, I want you to come with me, and we gonna start our life over, blah, 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 all of that shit. Like, girl was really digging me, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't trying to get me to be a daddy to her son or none of that, She was just fucking with me real tough. Nah, this is one of them signs. When guys send you signs, sometimes you just gotta go by what he tell you. Well, I went against it, right? So I'm still coming over there. I'm still fucking with her and shit like that. But I'm not into what she telling me. She telling me to get a game up, get ready to pack and leave. We going down south. I wasn't with it. So one night I was over there with her, right? We did our thing. She went to sleep. It was about 3 a.m. I can't sleep. I'm just laying there looking at the sky. Like, man, I gotta do some shit. You know what I'm saying? Boom, came to my head. It was like, man, just get out there. So I got up, grabbed my gun from under the couch, because I was sleeping on the couch. When I grabbed the gun, this was a hardwood floor. So, you can hear anything scraping across a hardwood floor. You know what I'm saying? You can hear a dog walking across a hardwood floor. You can hear their nails tacking the damn floor. So you gonna hear a big steel-ass gun slide from across that bitch. So anyway, she heard the gun sliding across the floor. It woke her up, She like, what is you doing? I'm like, man, I gotta get out here. I gotta make some shit happen. She like, no, don't do that. She like, I got a bad feeling something gonna happen to you. Like, man, she just started breaking out crying. Mind you, she was asleep. You know what I'm saying? But when she heard the gun, she jumped up. And I told her what I was gonna do. She started crying. She trying to stop me. She got her arms around me, all type of shit. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm about to get out here and do what the fuck you do. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I get up and I leave, right? I leave. I go hit the streets. Now at the time, this time, I had an E-pill from one of the Crip homies. Them niggas was popping pills. At the time, the pills that they was popping was them damn blue dolphins. You know what I'm saying? This was, 2011? So they popping blue dolphins. You know what I'm saying? So they threw me one, because they know I be on that tip. So while I'm out here in the street, I pulled the blue dolphin out of my pocket. I'm looking at it. I'm like, damn, if I pop this motherfucker, I'm gonna fuck around and shoot somebody. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to shoot nobody. So I threw that bitch, right? I threw the whole pill. I threw it, I kept walking. About that same night, I tried to rob like 3 different people, and they all was like hip to me. So when they seen me coming their way, they pulled off fast because they knew I was on the edge. You know what I'm saying? All right. So now the last play come. A nigga pulled up in his Charger, right? So he pull up in the Charger. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna get that right there. Now let me bag it up a little bit. With the carjacking and shit that I was doing, the robbery, I had a plug on the chop shops. I explained this to in the video, but I'm gonna break this down for you. So I started off robbing people, you know what I'm saying? But then I ended up bumping into an Arab that had a chop shop. The Arab told me, he like, look, stop robbing people, you know what I'm saying? He like, if you can get these cars, I'll pay you for that shit. Which, all in all, I still gotta rob a motherfucker, but I get paid way more if I do this shit with him. So I'm like, all right, cool. He give me a list of cars that he want. This 2011, you know. So this before the Scat Packs and Hellcats and all that shit. This is when the Hemis was hot. You know what I'm saying? If you had a Hemi, it was like you had a Hellcat at that time. So he like, look, you can get these Suburbans, you can get that Hemi Charger, you know what I'm saying? Chevy Impalas, you know, all of them nice new cars at the time. You like, you can get any of them cars, I give you $5,000 a car. Now the lower scale of cars was like the 300 M's, a Taurus, you know, bullshit like that. He'd pay me like 1,000, 1,500 for them type of cars. But the more premium cars, he'd pay me 5,000 for it. Okay, cool. So back to it. The nightfall come. The nightfall is here. I'm out here. I seen a nigga pull up in his damn Hemi Charge. Bad. Right? So it was Coney Island in the hood that I was at. It's called Coney Town. The Coney Island sit on 7 Mile and Kelly. That's the deep east side in the red zone. Now, at that time, right, I told you I was hanging out with the Crips. That's a blood neighborhood. But it was some Crips over there too. It wasn't a lot of them, but it was some Crips over there, right? So we ended up doing some shit. We whooped on a couple of them niggas. I done robbed a few of them niggas. It was a lot of shit that was going on at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm over here robbing in they hood again. You know what I'm saying? Just like 3 in the morning. You know, like I said, it was like 3, 4 in the morning. Well, dog pulled up to the county to grab his food or whatever. You know, he jump out the car, he go inside that bitch. I lean up against the wall. I'm masked up and everything. I'm ready for him to come out that bitch so I can swing around the wall, get his ass, right? All right, so I'm waiting on him. When the door opened, it's a bell on the door, basically to let them know somebody coming in or going out. So I could hear the bell, you know, when he coming out that bitch. Well, he came out, the bell rung, ding. All right, swung around the corner, jumped right on, psh, threw that bitch right in his face. You know what it is, come out that shit. So I get him, right? I'm taking the shit. I go jump in the car. While I go jump in the car, 2 blood niggas from they hood, they seen me robbing this nigga. They seen the whole play. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I went and jumped in the car, them niggas swung the corner. They lit the car up. Boom, 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 boom. They tried to kill me. Because like I said, we was over there terrorizing them niggas and all that shit. And we was in they hood, terrorizing them. You know what I'm saying? So this was they get back, was to lay me down type shit. But they didn't. So they fired 9 shots in the car. 7 of them hit me. You know what I'm saying? Now, after they fired all their bullets, I heard the guns clicking. So they out of bullets. They ran out of bullets. They take off running. Boom, they gone. I'm real life thought I was gonna die because I felt the bullets hit me. Pop, 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 pop. If you ever been shot, that shit burned so fucking much. You ever been shot, you know this. Like, them bullets hurt, you know what I'm saying? the motherfuckers pierce your skin. That's some of the worst shit in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather get stabbed 10 times than to get shot once. Swear to God, like, getting shot is, man, that shit is a whole nother level. You know, I see why people be dying off gunshot. Because, dog, that shit is next level. What it is when that little bitty steel, that bullet, when it go through, pierce your body, that bitch blow up. You know, it's just gunpowder. That bitch blow up when it get inside your body. You know, so that's why it be taking you out. It hit your nerves and all type of shit. Like, that shit out cold. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, the bullets hit me. I thought I was gonna die. So I ain't know how the fuck to feel at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Well, when I realized them niggas took off running, I'm feeling myself. I'm like, oh shit. I lived through that? You know what I'm saying? Man, I hurried up, started the car, peeled off that bitch. The nigga that I robbed, he's standing there in shock the whole time. Like, what the fuck just happened? Because I just robbed him, and then some nigga tried to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this Detroit, it just happened that quick. You know what I'm saying? Devin Jennings, my nigga, what's that word, baby? Now look, I'll hurry up, snatch off, right? I told you this was on the deep east side. Now, I was already over there robbing shit, so I didn't go to a hospital on the east side because I didn't want to get caught up in them string of robberies because they know how to trace all that shit, you know, especially with me just getting shot at a damn crime scene, you know what I'm saying? So I drove all the way back west. I drove all the way back west. I took 7 Mile down to Gratiot straight up to 8 Mile all the way back to the west. This is about 3:30 in the morning, you know, when this shit happened. I'm flying down 8 Mile. Now, you know anything about 8 Mile, the speed limit like 50, you know. I'm doing about 80 up that bitch. 3 in the morning, surpassing all these suburban cities, you know what I'm saying? I ain't give a fuck. I was shot the fuck up. I'm bleeding everywhere. I thought I was gonna die. It was crazy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm flying up 8 Mile. I'm like, man, I gotta save myself, you know. Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was praying to God, and I don't even be doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, God, please spare me. You know, don't kill me. Like, I don't want to die. Like, I thought I was gonna lose consciousness or something, crash into something, die. I ain't know what the fuck was gonna happen. But the whole time, I'm praying like, dog, God, don't take me out. Now, mind you, I was gangbanging at the time. You know, and when you gangbanging, you don't be on all that religious shit. Gangbangers are against religion. Now we believe in God, but we not with religion. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I wasn't praying and all, that wasn't my thing. But when I got shot the fuck up and I thought I was gonna die, man, I was praying like a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie to you, swear to God. So it took me about 30 minutes to drive from where the crime scene happened all the way to the hospital I went to. I drove all the way back deep west, back to my neighborhood. I went to a hospital called Providence Hospital. You know what I'm saying? Providence sit inside of Southfield. So I was like all the way off the map. You know what I'm saying? With the robberies that I was committing in the city, I went to a suburban hospital. You know what I'm saying? All right. So I get to the hospital. When I pull up in the hospital, I pulled up in the emergency parking lot. You know, where you walk into emergency. I pulled up in that parking lot. I opened the door. I thought I was just about to get out that bitch and just walk in there. No, I was hit up in my legs. My legs was gushing out blood. It took me about 10 minutes to get out the car. If you ever been shot up in a car, you can't just get up out the car and just walk away like that. It don't work like that. Them bullet fragments, they take a toll on your nerves. You know what I'm saying? So it took me about 10 minutes to get out the car. You know, I got out. I walked up to the emergency. It took me like another 5 minutes to walk up to the damn emergency. God kept me alive, man. I could have fell out, passed out right there. Anything could have happened. But I was able to walk in there, right? So I walk in, you know, the security guards and shit, they all standing there. What happened? I'm like, I got shot. The fuck you mean? So they instantly threw me in a wheelchair. They rolled me into the hospital. Okay, I get into the hospital. Next thing I know, they knocked me out. You know what I'm saying? So I don't remember what the fuck happened at this point. I was knocked out. By the time I woke up, I had bandages all around my arms. I had a big ass cast on my arm. I mean, I had bandages around my legs. I had a big ass cast on my arm. They had to do surgery on my finger. I had got shot in my finger, so it don't close all the way. They had to put 10 stitches in my shit. I don't know if you can see the stitches came all the way up here, but I almost lost my finger. When I had my hand on the steering wheel when they were shooting, and one of the bullets hit me in my finger. The damn bullet landed in the steering wheel. You know what I'm saying? So when I drove to the hospital, the damn bullet was in the steering wheel. Now, you know, when something hit the steering wheel like that, usually the steering wheel deploy. The airbag will deploy. It didn't deploy on me, which was another thing that could have killed me. You know what I'm saying? With me getting shot up and that damn airbag deployed, blew me in the face. Like, man, I'm one of the chosen ones, I swear. But anyway, I woke up, I'm bandaged up, I got a big ass cast on my arm. So they had to knock me out and do surgery on my finger. They didn't do surgery on my legs, it was just on my finger. So when I get up, I'm laid up in the hospital bed, you know. I'm looking around like, oh shit, I'm still alive, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause that was some crazy shit. Well, I think I woke up maybe around 10 o'clock that morning, you know. Like I said, this shit happened like 3:30, 4 in the morning. So they had me knocked out while they was doing the surgery on me and wrapping me up and all that shit. Well, I finally woke up, right? I woke up, I'm trying to move around, making sure all my ligaments work and everything. Everything worked. I'm like, damn, I made it out that shit, you know? So while I'm doing it, I look out the window because they had me on like the 4th floor or some shit like that. So when you look out the window, of course, you can see the whole, you know, view outside of everything, you know. So I'm looking in the parking lot. That car that I carjacked, that I got shot up in, was sitting there still in the same spot I pulled up in a few hours previous. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker was still sitting there, right? I'm like, oh shit, I still got the car. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hell yeah. Like when I get up out of here, I'm about to jump in the car. I'm about to shoot that bitch to the chop shop. This was on my mind. Like, I need just 5 bands real quick. When I almost just died, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm back on that street shit. Like, oh, I'm about to go in and get rid of this car, get this money, you know? Well, while I'm sitting there waiting on the nurses and shit to come in and clear me, some detectives walk in there. They walk in, they question me, ask me what happened. My story was, I was walking up the street, a van pulled up, I just seen mask and a gun. I took off running. By the time I took off running, I crossed the 8 Mile and I realized I was shot up, so I walked the rest of the way to the hospital. That was my story. But of course, that ain't what happened, but that was my story. The detectives, they looking at me, they like, man, look, we know you lying, man, but we don't know exactly what you did. So we like, look, this is what we gonna do. We gonna give you our business card. When you feel like telling us the truth, give us a call. Mind you, they gave me this while I'm laying on the bed. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, all right. Right while they walking out, I bought that card up, threw it in the trash can, right? Fuck out of here. What the fuck I look like, you know? But anyway, the nurses finally came in. The doctor came in. They cleared me. They said, you know, what they had to do with my finger because I almost lost it. They said I'm being in the cast for a couple of months. Then when I come back, you know, they'll take it off. But my leg's good or whatever, you know. I just need to leave the bandages on them for a couple of days, let them heal up, shit like that. So I'm like, well, how many times I got shot? You know what I'm saying? They said I got shot 7 times. 5 of them in my legs. 1 in my arm had grazed me. Right here on my arm. I don't know if you can really see it. I got grazed right there and in my finger. So 7 bullets. Out of 9, 7 of them hit me. Now, the 5 that went in my legs, they went in and out. Only 2 bullets stayed in my legs. 1 of them stayed in my left leg, 1 stayed in my right leg. All the other, what was that, 3 other bullets went in and out of both of my legs. You know what I'm saying? All right. So They cleared me. They gave me some antibiotics. They said, here, just take these antibiotics. You be all right. Okay, cool. I leave out. Of course, they had to have a nurse wheelchair me outside to my ride. So the nurse wheelchaired me out there. I'm trying to think of a plan real quick, like how the fuck I'm gonna be able to jump in this car and pull off, you know what I'm saying? Because I told them I walked up here. So, I can't tell them I'm about to go jump in the car. Like, that's gonna be a red flag, So while she rolling me down there, to the place where the people pull up to, pick you up, I'm like, you know what? This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just say my ride in the parking lot. They waiting on me in the parking lot. I just played it like that, right? So by the time she rolled me out there, and this was a nice sunny ass day, you know what I'm saying? So when we got down there to the edge of where the people pull up at, she like, where's your ride? I told her, I was like, they just text me. They told me they was in the parking lot. I was like, I want to walk over there. I need to, get on my feet. I've been laid up on this hospital bed. I'm like, I need to do some walking. So I walk to the parking lot and go jump in the car. She like, all right, cool, whatever. So I jumped up with my property in my bag. Oh yeah, they had to cut my clothes off of me, all of that shit. So my cut up clothes was in my property bag, blood all on it, all of that shit, right? The keys to the car was in there too. So not only the car was in the parking lot, I still had the keys to the car and all that shit. All right. So when they rolled me out there, and I said my little finesse to the nurse, she turned the damn wheelchair around, went back in the hospital. I walked to the car. Mind you, it took me a nice little length of time to walk back to the damn car. But I got to the car, bullet holes all in the door. And there was a bullet hole that went through the driver window. Now the windows was tinted on that car, but you could see the bullet hole went through that driver window. And there was a bullet in the steering wheel. Well, I get in the car, I start that bitch up. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was smiling ear to ear. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, I got hit the fuck up and I still got this motherfucking car. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I saved myself and still got this bitch. I'm like, big, I'm about to go drop it off. So I go pull up on the block. I'm like, man, I'm about to go ahead and take a shower real quick. I'm about to go drop this car off and on to the next move. Well, I pull up on the block. I bagged the car in the driveway in between my house and the neighbor's house. So I had the car sitting there in between the houses, so it ain't just sitting in front of the house all in the open, I went in there to wash up, do a little bird bath and shit, because I couldn't took a full-blown shower at this point. So I went there, did me a little bird bath. All right, I'm ready to hit the streets. I mind you, the gun that I robbed the nigga with was still in the car. I had threw that gun under the seat. You know what I'm saying? Now look, when I come back outside to get in the car, my little homie Dre, that this story was about, I just had to, throw that in there so y'all can understand why all this shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I jump in the car, Dre is in the passenger seat playing with the gun. So he was on the block and he seen me pull up in the car. You know what I'm saying? So he basically came over, jumped in the car, and he waited on me to come back out. So when I came, jumped in the car, he like, damn, bro, how the fuck you get this ride? Woo, woo. Like I said, them motherfuckers was the Hellcats back then, I'm like, man, how the fuck you get this? Woo, woo. I'm like, man, I had to go put down the play, but I'm like, you see what happened? I got shot the fuck up in this bitch. So I told him how everything went. He like, what? I'm like, nigga, is you serious? I'm like, bro, look. I'm done with this shit. I'm out the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to turn this bitch in. I'm about to get these little 5 bands real quick. And I'm going to have to invest that shit in something else going to have to happen. Because you can't do this robbing shit no more. I'm like, nigga, I almost died. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was some other niggas, but at the time, I didn't know who it was that shot at me. You know what I'm saying? I found that out a little later on. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling the little homie, I'm like, nigga, I got shot the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? While I was robbing this nigga type shit. I'm like, we got to get that up. That shit over with. He like, all right, bro, I got you. Woo, woo. He like, well, what you about to do? I'm like, man, I'm about to go drop this car off, dog, and I'm about to go chill. He like, all right, cool. We slapped fives. That was the last time I seen him. You know what I'm saying? That was 2011. August of 2011. Now, at that time, he was like 15, 16, maybe going on 16, something like that. But I think he was still 15. He was somewhere around there, right? Okay. Now, when we slapped fives, he jumped out the car. He took the gun with him. You know what I'm saying? I told him I was done with that shit. I'm like, whatever you do with this, just use it for protection. Don't be on shit. You know what I'm saying? If you is gonna take it with you. He like, I ain't gonna do shit. I'm gonna just take it home, blah, blah, blah. All right, whatever. Well, he walked back across the street. He went home. I pulled off. I shot up to the motherfucking chop shop, right? I hop out the car. He come walking out the garage. I'm like, look, man, that's what I got. I'm like, you said you wanted one of these motherfuckers. I got it. He looking at it. He looking at the bullet holes and shit. He like, man, that bitch hot, dog. I'm like, man, you a chop shop. You know what I'm saying? He like, yeah, man. He like, but you got shot up in this car. I can't really touch that. I'm like, dog, I don't believe this shit. I almost died in this damn car, and you sitting up here telling me you can't do nothing with it. So I'm pissed. Now I'm like, what the fuck I'm gonna do with this hot ass car? I can't keep it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know what to think at the time. So I was like, fuck it, man. I jumped back in the car. I sped off. I went back to the east side. I went back over girl house that I was telling y'all about earlier. I went back to her house. Here we go. Damn ambulance and shit. I'll give him a minute to go past. All right. So I shoot back to the east side to girl house, right? I'm over there with her. She like, what happened to you? You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, because I got out the hospital that same day. Like, they didn't hold me for a couple days, none of that. I got out that same motherfucking day. I came in about 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up about 10. I was out of there by like 2 p.m. So after I shot to the chop shop, I went and shot over girl house. It's probably like 5, 6 o'clock now. Girl, like, what happened to you? I've been calling you all day. What happened? I showed her I was shot up and shit. She like, what the fuck went on? So I told her. She was like, I told you not to do that shit. She like, I told you something was gonna happen. I'm like, man, whatever, dog. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get rid of this car. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I had that car for a week, literally 7 days, from Sunday to Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I should have got rid of that shit, but I didn't. I was young and thugging. I ain't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So at this time, I just decided I was gonna stay east. I didn't want to go back west because I didn't want Dre to be trying to get on nothing and do something or none of that. So I just stayed east. You know what I'm saying? I just stayed out his way for a minute. Let that shit die down because Dre was rocking with me. He was with whatever I was on. You know what I'm saying? So I tried to stay away from him to, keep the heat down type shit. Well, when I'm over there on the east, the Crip niggas alerted me and told me who it was that shot at me. You know what I'm saying? They found out, who the fuck it was. I'm like, straight up? Oh, okay, bet. Man, we started riding. We all through that bitch looking for these niggas. You know what I'm saying? No lie. Through that hood looking for these niggas. In the fucking Stoley I got shot up in. You know what I'm saying? I'm riding through that bitch, bullet holes and all that, to let them niggas know, like, I'm through this bitch. Where y'all at? You know what I'm saying? Niggas was hiding, dog. They was hiding for real. They heard I was back in town. Niggas was hiding. I ain't exaggerating. Niggas was hiding. But anyway, 7 days later, right? I'm still in this hot ass car. I'm still over here fucking with girl. Now look, day 7 go by. I call myself finally going back west. I told girl, I'm like, look, I need to head back to the west side. I've been over here long enough. I can't find these niggas. I'm just sitting on this hot ass car in this hot ass neighborhood where I did this shit at. I'm like, I need to go back west for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Here she go again. Don't leave. I got a bad feeling. She did this a second time. I should have took her advice, but I didn't. So I left. When I left, not even 10 minutes later, I got flicked in that damn car. Now the crazy thing is, the cops that flicked me, they had somebody else pulled over. I pulled up to a light on 7 Mile and Van Dyke. It's a gas station on that corner. They was in the gas station, had somebody pulled over with the lights on and everything. When I rolled up to the light, they seen all the bullet holes in the door. I was looking at them looking at me. They turned off their lights, went around the car, jumped out, pulled up behind me. I knew exactly what it was. I was like, they own me, you know. As soon as the light changed, I took off on their head. Here they go. They threw their lights on. I hit a couple blocks on them. Lost them. Like I said, that Hemi was the Hellcat back then. Smoked their ass, right? I smoke them. I'm riding through the hood. I'm more low key, trying to get away. You know what I'm saying? I didn't already lost them, but now I'm trying to get the fuck out that zone. You know what I'm saying? I hear the damn chopper, the helicopter. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit. You know, it got the sunroof. So I'm looking up. I see the helicopter over me. Like, damn, man, it's over. Everywhere I'm turning and going, the damn helicopter following me. I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers got me. You know what I'm saying? I hit a couple blocks, pop back out on 7 Mile. My plan was pop back out on 7 Mile, shoot down that bitch, get back west. You know what I'm saying? I get back out to 7 Mile. 3 cop cars coming this way, 3 cars coming this way. They came from both ways. Blocked me in. Hopped out with the guns, all that shit. They had me. Took me to jail, right? Now I'm in jail. This is how I caught my case. That landed me 4 years in prison. Because of that, right there. Now, they couldn't convict me saying that I was the one that carjacked this person. But the whole fact that I got caught in that car and I was shot up in that car and the shooting happened on that scene. So it was like, yeah, it was me all day, but they couldn't place me as the robber because the witness or the victim, he said that the person that robbed him had a mask on, so he couldn't identify me. In the court of law, even if it is that close, if the witness can't identify you, then you can get away with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. They couldn't necessarily convict me on that whole case because the witness couldn't identify me. But because I was shot up and I was in that car, it's like, nigga, it was you. But we can't 100% say it was you. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's how I ended up only getting 4 years instead of 15, like they would have gave me if I would have got caught up doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? And after the crime was over, I left the scene. I was gone. So I beat that case on a lot of elements. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that I was caught in the car, my blood was in it and all of that, I had to plea out to something. You know what I'm saying? So the charge still stuck, but my sentencing guidelines was reeled down because I beat a lot of elements out that case. No, I ain't snitch on nobody. I didn't even have no co-defendants, so I ain't had nobody to tell on. You know what I'm saying? It was just me. But like I said, I beat most of the damn elements to the case. So my sentencing grid was real low. And it was my first felony. So it was a lot of shit that worked on my end for me not to get a lot of time. That's why I only got 4 years. You know what I'm saying? All right. So now I'm in the county fighting my case. Everybody talking about I'm about to get 20 years. This is one of the worst crimes you can get. All of that shit. Mind you, I'm still healing. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling girl while I'm in jail. She put money on the phone, all of that. She like, I told you not to do it, but you still did it, high head ass nigga. She like, I'm gonna ride with you till you get out. When you get out, we going down south, fuck this shit, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, cool, you know, I'm ready to give it up, fuck it, you know. Now, when you in jail, you would tell a girl anything, you know what I'm saying? Like you be willing to do anything when you in jail. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just telling her all the fixings. You know, like yeah, I'm with that. Blah 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 blah. Right. Well, this probably like 2 months in. The girl finally gave up on me. She was like, fuck that. This nigga ain't coming home. You know what I'm saying? She had blocked me from calling her, all type of shit. Went MIA. I never heard from her again. All right. Fast forward the tape a little more. Now it's about 6 months in. I'm about to get sentenced. You know what I'm saying? Now, my lawyer that I had a good lawyer. You know, he told me I was only gonna get 2 years. So he had me cop a plea to 2 years. Now I done said this before. When they come at you with these cops agreement, just because they say here 5 years and you sign it, that don't mean you gonna do 5 years. It's up to the judge. I made a live about that. I said the judge is the most gangsterest motherfucker in the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's the truth because the judge hold it at the end of the day. So I took this cops agreement to 2 years, right? When I went to go get sentenced, the judge said, no, it ain't enough time. So he bumped it from 2 years to 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I ended up doing 4 years. I was supposed to do 2, but he didn't go with the cops agreement. So he gave me 4, which was still a good deal. You know what I'm saying? Because he could have hung me. He could have gave me 10 years, 15, 20, whatever the fuck he wanted. You know what I'm saying? But he just gave me an extra 2 years. That's cool. Because more than likely, the parole board probably would have flopped me anyway. You know what I'm saying? Off that 2 years for a carjacking. So the 4 years kind of worked out anyway. You know what I'm saying? All right. So I go to prison. I'm in the joint now. Damn. Who would have fucking known? Me in prison. You know what I'm saying? When I was just out in the world living life, I'm out here robbing shit. I got all the bad bitches in the city on my head. My main bitch was a light-skinned badass bitch that wanted to do any and everything for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm running niggas out they hood, all type of shit. Like I was young and wild. You know what I'm saying? And now look at me. I'm in prison. You know what I'm saying? Shot the fuck up, still healing, and I'm in prison looking like a damn fool. You know what I'm saying? When I didn't even get caught up on the case. You know what I'm saying? I got away from the shit, but I still caught myself up because of my mentality. You know what I'm saying? I was still trying to ride on these niggas. If I wasn't trying to ride on them, I probably would have never got caught up. But everything happened for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't deflecting on the situation or nothing, but it was what it was. So anyway, a few more months go down the line. I'm about damn near a year in at this point of my 4 year sentence. I'm about almost a year in. Dre found me. The little homie Dre I was talking about, he found me. He writing me all the time, sending me pictures, all that shit, you know. So I'm like, what's going on, little homie? You know, what you doing? Woo woo. He like, man, I ain't even gonna lie, man. He was like, you got caught up. That shit opened my eyes, you know. He was like, I ain't out here on none of that shit. You know, I'm back in school. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm working with my daddy, blah, blah, blah. You know, he just painted me this picture. Now, mind you, all of this is in messages. He wrote me this, you know what I'm saying? So, with him writing me this shit is proof, you know what I'm saying? This wasn't over the phone. He wrote this shit, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm writing him back. We sending letters back and forth to each other. All right. Now, fast forward the tape, about a year and some change later. Because by the time I got to prison, it was 2012. I caught the case in 2011, but by the time I got to prison, it was 2012. He found me a few months later down the line. So like in the middle of 2012, that's when he found me. You know what I'm saying? Now with him, this happened in 2013. So this was a year later. So for a whole year straight, me and him writing letters back and forth to each other, you know. All he telling me is all good shit that he doing. He ain't doing nothing bad. He ain't in the streets. He learned from me, blah, 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 you know. I'm sending him back letters, all positive shit. Stay out this shit. You seen what happened to me. I don't want that to happen to you. Blah, 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 you know. Bree, have you seen the guys that did this since you been out? No. Hell no. Nah. We was riding on them niggas and all that. Since I've been out, I'm not gonna say what happened, but them niggas got clapped. You know what I'm saying? So they gone. Them niggas dead and gone. They got smoked while I was in prison. You know what I'm saying? So all that shit was over with. But anyway, like I said, me and Dre, we writing each other for a whole year straight, back and forth. You know what I'm saying? All positive shit, no bullshit, no none of that. You know. Well, this is the middle of 2013 now. Now I called home one day. I called my mom's. I'm like, what's going on? She like, shit, one of your homeboys over here. She like, you want to talk to him? I'm like, yeah. So she put him on the phone. I'm like, what's up, bro? We talking. He like, man, what's the deal? I'm like, shit, I'm here doing this time. I'm like, shit. At that time, I had like a year and a half, 2 years left. You know, I'm like, shit, I'm just in here knocking down this time. I'll be out in a minute. He like, man, what's up with Dre? I'm like, what you mean, what's up with Dre? Now, by this time, Dre like 17, 18 at the time. He like, man, Dre out here clowning. I'm like, what you mean clowning? He like, man, that nigga keep bankrolls on him. He in a different car every week. This nigga be shooting dice. He pull out $10,000. Like, what the fuck he doing? Now everybody knew Dre was under my wing. So, he asking me like, am I setting up plays for him while I'm in prison? I'm like, hell no. Nah. I ain't no shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's been all positive shit. I'm like, he told me he working with his daddy and shit, so maybe that's where he getting his money from. He like, nah, that nigga doing something way bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? He like, nigga, he out here overshining everybody. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Now, Dre wasn't telling me none of that. You know what I'm saying? He was just playing it cool, like he just going to school and working. But whole time, he in the streets balling. And he balling because he out here carjacking people. He was doing the same shit I was doing. You know what I'm saying? But he was lying to me because he knew if he would have told me he was doing that, he knew I would have got on his ass. So he was lying to me and he was keeping it quiet in the streets what he was doing. So what he did was he started rolling with a new crew of niggas that he was going to school with. Them niggas was from a whole nother hood. You know what I'm saying? So he started telling them the shit that he was doing with me. And they all decided that that's what they was gonna do. So they was doing that shit on their time. This is why nobody in the hood knew what Dre was doing and none of that. Cause he started rolling with a whole nother crew doing this shit. All right. So while he doing that, he gonna make his licks and all that. He come back to the hood in new cars and bankrolls. You know what I'm saying? So he decided to hook up with my chop shop. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how he got intertwined with my chop shop, but when you robbing shit, the connections in Detroit be real strong. So he didn't end up hooking up with my chop shop. You know what I'm saying? He doing his thing. Not telling me nothing. I don't know what the fuck he doing. Mind you, I'm in prison. I'm locked away. I don't know. All I know is the letters he writing. So all right, get off the phone with my homeboy. Maybe like 2 months later, I call home again. Call and check. Hey, y'all all right? What's going on? My mama like, yeah, we good. But she like, it's a whole bunch of people out here on the block. Now, mind you, I told you my block always be lit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shit, that's the normal. The block always lit up. She like, nah, it's way too many people out here. You know? I'm like, what? She like, yeah, you need to call one of your friends and see what's going on because it's just too many people out here. I'm like, all right. So I called the same homie that I talked to a couple months prior that was telling me Dre was out here going crazy. I called him. I'm like, what's up? Why everybody on the block? He like, man, Dre got killed. What? Yeah, Dre got killed. How the fuck he get killed? What happened? He like, man, that nigga tried to rob an off-duty cop. The fuck is you talking about? You tried to rob an off-duty cop. He like, man, look. He like, I'm gonna just go on here and tell you the story, bro. He like, now remember when I talked to you before, I told you that nigga was out here doing some wild shit. I'm like, yeah. He like, man, he hooked up with some new niggas. They was out here carjacking people. You know what I'm saying? That's where he was getting all his money from. Well, he decided to ride on the wrong person one night. It was another Charger. He was trying to steal somebody's Charger. Him and his boys in the car following this damn Charger. It's four of them, him and three of his homies in their car, and they following this Charger. They try and catch this Charger at like a red light, you know what I'm saying? So that they could rob the motherfuckers at the light or whatever and take the car. Well, the motherfucker in the Charger peeped these niggas was following. So he wasn't stopping at no lights. He was just going through shit, right? So Dre going through the lights, following them too, because Dre was driving the Stoley that they was in. Well, these niggas followed that damn Charger all the way to my man's house. My man's led them all the way to his house, right? So when they got to the house, they pulled up in the driveway behind him. They followed this nigga all the way to his house. Just like, it's just certain shit you don't do. You know what I'm saying? And this is just something he did. He was determined to get this man's car. You know what I'm saying? So when they jump out the car, the windows tinted on that Charger. Well, when Dre jumped out, he ran right up on the driver. Threw that bitch on the glass. Get the fuck out the car. Well, it was an off-duty cop in the car. And I told you, he was on the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So when that happened, the cop wouldn't budge. Dre still on the window. Get the fuck out the car. Blah, blah, blah. Dog not budging. So Dre shot a bullet through the car. Boom. The bullet went through the driving window. It went through the window. It missed the cop's head, and it went in the headrest. The cop pulled his gun, returned fire, shot Dre right in the forehead. Fell out, died right there instantly. So when Dre fell and dead, all of his boys took off and ran, left him. Well, you know, the off-duty cop, you know, he got his walkie-talkie and shit. Psh, he hit the button. Cops pulled up. They found all them niggas, all three of them other niggas. Because they ain't take off running nowhere. Them niggas just hid in the bushes. So the police found all them niggas, took all of them to jail. Dre dead, and his homeboys is in jail, right? I'm heated. Like, what? Is you fucking serious? So now I'm blaming his homeboys, you know what I'm saying? They like, yeah, his homeboys was young like him, you know? So they was like 17, 16, 17, shit like that at the time, you know? I'm like, man, I ever run across some niggas while I'm in here, I'm gonna kill them niggas. You know, this is what I'm telling the homie on the phone, but of course, you know, we talking in code, because you can't just say anything over the phone, you know what I'm saying? All right? Well, just so happened, right before it was time for me to get out, I had to get sent to a prison called Lapeer. Now, with my crime, it's a violent crime. Before you get let out of prison, depending on your crime, you had to take certain classes before you can get out on parole. Well, I was a violent offender, so I had to take this class called VOP, which is Violent Offender Program. The prison that I was at is called Adrian Correctional Facility. Adrian didn't have the Violent Offender Program, so they sent me to Lapeer. Lapeer was the next prison that had that program. So they sent me to Lapeer to do the program so I could get my parole and go home. Well, Lapeer is the only prison in Michigan that housed the teenagers and the adults. Every other prison in Michigan is just straight adults, but Lapeer housed the teenagers too. Now, when the teenagers turn 18, it's two separate like yards. You know what I'm saying? One side is for the teenagers, and then the other side is for the adults. Now, if you a teenager and you do your time before you turn 18, you go home on the teenager side. But if you turn 18 while you in there, they take you from the teenager side and put you on the adult side. So while I'm at Lapeer, you know, I'm on the yard, I'm working out all of that shit. Now, when they let us out in prison on the yards, they let both of us out at the same time, the teenagers and the adults. But it's a gate that divides us. But we could walk up to the gate and we could talk to the teenagers just like they could talk to us. Also, like the damn library, the school, and prison, both of us being there at the same time, the teenagers and the adults. So we bump into the teenagers through the school and on the yard in between the gates. Well, while I'm in there, of course, I told my homies what was going on, all of that shit. It's crazy how prison work, because a motherfucker will figure you out real quick, what you in there for, what you did, all of that, right? Well, some of the little crip homies that I fucked with in prison, they fucked with the teenagers on the other side of the gate. So basically, they was getting word on the niggas that was coming in type shit. Well, the niggas that was coming in was the young niggas that was on the case with my little homie. Now, by this time, I done matured a lot. I done grew up a lot. I'm ready to come home. So I'm really not on shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the fuck out at this point. Because I only had like 6 months left at the time. I was real like about to go see the parole board by the time this happened. So we on the yard, the little crip homies told me, they like, hey man, you know what you said about your homie Dre that died and shit? Nah, my homie Dre died in 2013. By the time I went to see the parole board and all that, and I'm about to get ready to go home, this was 2014. So this was a whole year later. My mind frame didn't change a whole lot in a year's time. You know what I'm saying? So I really wasn't on a lot of shit I was on a year prior. Well, they like, yeah, the niggas that was on that case, they over there. And it only made sense because that's the only prison that housed teenagers. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, straight up. I'm like, y'all know what the niggas look like? They like, yeah. So one day when they blew yard, we walked over there to the gate. They showed me the niggas and shit. So I told them niggas come to the gate. They came to the gate. I'm like, y'all was the niggas on the case with my little homie Dre? They like, yeah, bro. We didn't mean nothing. That wasn't us, man. Dre was just tripping, blah, blah, blah. This through the gate. They copping pleas through the gate. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, whatever. The oldest one, he was just about to turn 18. His name was B. Johnson. They let that nigga, when he turned 18, they let him from over there with the teenagers. They brought him over here to our side with the adults. This just show you how God would test you, you know what I'm saying? To see if you grew, to see if you learned, to see if things didn't change for you. You know what I'm saying? Because if this was a year prior when it happened, I would have killed that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But this was a whole nother year later. It's about time for me to go. This was my test to see if I was gonna pass the test. They let him over to our side because he turned 18. So now he on our prison side with the adults now. Not only that, they put him in my same unit. What was the chances? You know what I'm saying? So when he came in, I seen him. I'm like, oh, that's that B. Johnson nigga. You know what I'm saying? Okay. He went in his room. He unloaded all his stuff and everything. He came back out to the day room where I was at. He walked right up to me. He like, bro, look, let me holler at you. You know what I'm saying? I instantly jumped up on tip. Like, I'm thinking he on something. You know what I'm saying? He like, bro, look, I promise you I ain't on nothing. I just want to kick it with you, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, what's up? He like, look, man. He like, we didn't do none of that. He was like, Dre was just tripping, man. So he broke the whole story down to me. Now, mind you, I've been in prison during all of this time. I never met none of his homies, so I didn't even know these niggas or none of that. Plus, I'm on my way out the door. So if I make any false move, I'm subject to, get whacked and do more time. So I heard him out. He told me everything. He just said Dre was tripping, you know what I'm saying? He got killed. He told me how the whole thing went. And I had to take that with a grain of salt and going on about my business, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, look, I ain't even tripping, dog. I don't give a fuck. I'm about to get out. Me and him ended up getting cool. Mind you, I never seen this guy a day in my life. He was just in the car with my little homie when he got killed. You know what I'm saying? So I let that shit go, moved on by my life. Fast forward to tape. I got my parole. I got out of prison. I get out of prison. One of the homies tell me that basically his sister, Dre's sister, the one I told you, they came and picked us up when we did that one hit in Southfield and it didn't go right. She came and picked us up hurt. My homie telling me that she blaming me for his murder. How the fuck you blaming me for his murder and I was in prison? You know what I'm saying? So I pulled up to Dre mama house, you know what I'm saying? After I had got out, I pulled up, his mama was on the porch. You know, she still said by this time, this was 2 years after his death. Because I got out 2 years later after his death. Mind you, I was in prison 2 years, for a whole 2 years when he got killed. And then I didn't get out for a whole another 2 years after his death. You know what I'm saying? So when I get out, I pull it up. Mom's still on the porch. I can see it in her face. She was still fucked up behind this 2 years later. So I told her, I'm like, look, I'm here to clear my name. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on out here saying that I had something to do with his murder because I ain't had nothing to do with it. You know, she stopped me. She was like, you know, you good with us. She like, I know it wasn't you. I'm like, you know, what you mean? She like, all them letters that y'all was writing each other, she like, it was coming to my house. She like, I read every letter you wrote him. And she like, I knew what he was writing you. You know, she got to showing me all the letters that I wrote him. She kept all of the letters that I wrote him. So she knew that I ain't had nothing to do with his murder. So my name was clear right there. All right, good. Went on by my life. It made me feel so much better knowing that his own mama knew that I didn't have nothing to do with his murder. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just strictly on him. He was lying about what he was out here doing, and he was doing some shit that he shouldn't have been doing. But at the same time, I did kind of introduce him to the shit. But at the end of the day, you your own man. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I was gone and in prison, when you was out here doing what you was doing. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how life worked, man. You know? And that's been the story of my homie Lil Dre, man. He got killed out here, like, I think it was right before his 18th birthday. You know, I think it was like a couple of days before his 18th birthday. You know, he got addicted to the lifestyle that I was living, you know, and it ultimately took him out the game. When when it was my turn, I'm the one that almost died, but God kept me. God kept me and took him. It just goes to show you, you know, it ain't over until it's over. When your time come, it's your time. You know what I'm saying? And it was his time. You know, he was out here lying about his lifestyle. I wasn't lying about my lifestyle. I was doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? And God snatched me at the last second because I was on the crash out list. I was the crash out before all of this internet crash out shit. I was the crash out for real. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's a lot of reasons why I know he did save me, and I'm not gonna go through all of that because this live ain't for that. But he definitely saved me for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And man, I thank God every day. You know, I still look up to the sky and be like, damn, Drake's supposed to be here. You know, but he not. He took him for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how life work, man. But you know, y'all be safe out here. If you out here in the streets, don't bring your little homies into this shit, man. You don't know how much of an influence you really is to them, you know, until something happened. And then they decide to do what you doing, even after you gone. If you die, if you go to prison, anything, you know what I'm saying, you would think that they will learn from you when you behind the punishment, behind what you did. But sometimes that shit turned them up even more. You know what I'm saying? And they decide to be on demon time. They decide it's their turn to step up to the plate. Instead of stepping down, they step up. This is proof right here that it do happen. They want to step in and fill your shoes. So even if you is in the streets, you too deep and you can't leave it alone, don't bring them youngins up under you into this shit, man. Because they be the ones that'll go before you. I'm living proof of that. You don't want that to happen to you. Because still to this day, I still look back like, damn, man, if I would have never took him on none of them runs, he probably wouldn't have never known nothing about this. But at the end of the day, he his own man. He probably would have known about it anyway. You know what I'm saying? And even after I got hit up and everything, and I had a whole long ass talk with him before I even went to jail. We sat in the car and we kicked it right after I got shot the fuck up. Like, nigga, I just got hit up. You know what I'm saying? This ain't what you want. And he still was on that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it don't be no lesson. Sometimes they got to learn on their own. You know, and that's exactly what happened in this case. He had to learn on his own, man. Sad situation. But it's been another episode of Roll Up a Poet. My bad. It's been another live episode of Roll Up a Poet. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured.